Welcome to Ask Colleen, Spiritual Solutions for Life Situations. I'm Colleen St. and I will be the host for this podcast. My aim is to provide you with the guidance and support through life's challenges, spiritual development, change, healing, and growth. Drawing from over 2 decades of experience as a spiritual practitioner, I will share my wisdom and offer answers to the questions that may weigh heavy on your heart and your mind. Remember that you are not alone, you are capable, and the light within you is unstoppable. Hello and welcome to Ask Colleen, Spiritual Solutions for Life Situations. This is episode 4. So what's my purpose? What is your purpose? That's our topic for today. We're going to talk about this pressing question that is always leading people into a panic-like state or feeling absent or not doing enough, or they feel like there is this higher purpose available for them, that there's something else they should be doing, and they feel like they're missing their mark or they've lost their big shot. So we're going to bring it back today and actually talk about our life's purpose. I spent decades as a medium working in the afterlife and got a lot of insight about the soul, our story, and why we're here and what we're created to experience and do. Before we do that, we're going to start with a Peace Warrior card and set an intention. Take a nice deep breath and set your intention. It's like, what do I need to know? You can ask yourself, what do I need to know to heal? What do I need to know to grow? What do I need to let go of? And just set that personal energy within yourself and allow the cards to guide us. And what does everybody need to know? And what you can see when I'm working with, these are my personal cards that I developed, the Peace Warrior cards. When I'm working with them, I always knock on them because what we're doing is we're shifting the energy. We're clearing the energy off of either the last time I used them or the last intention that was set. But every time I pick up my cards and I ask a question, whether you have your own personal deck at home or you're new to them or your experience, just remember always to clear your cards, because sometimes we can get staticky messages, even with the cards, if we don't clear the energy. That's where the pureness of our intention is so important. So in just shuffling, I'm just saying, what is our message? What is the message? And I'm feeling the stop. So how appropriate. The card is Mind Magic. Fear is just smoke and mirrors. Focus on your thoughts. So true fear is super necessary. Like, we need to know that if a tiger's behind us, that, that we get activated to go into that response mode. However, when we live in a state of fear, we are living in a limited space where we can actually hear the frequency of our intuition speaking, because fear is a very low vibration. It takes us out of faith. It takes us into a state of doubt and mistrust. Whereas our intuition, our higher vibrational self, works off of a place of trust. It works off a place of an inner knowing, but not knowing why. And that is a muscle that needs to be developed and learned. And as we learned about in that last series of intuitive mini-series with Ask Colleen, is that being patient with yourself and being present with yourselves helps you to identify the intuitive impressions that are coming through that are going to help guide you. The mind was created to keep us safe. It is created that it's like a computer. We have downloaded the information that is from what we have witnessed, from what we have learned, what we have read, what we have observed, all from this lower density in this ego space of the 3D or the earthly plane. So when we want to shift out of that, it's not about so much going back to your mind, because a lot of times the mind that created the problem is not going to be the mind that solves the problem. The solutions come from our soul-lutions, and it comes from our soul's communication through our intuitive impressions that help us to navigate those challenges. Again, we need the harmony of both hemispheres of our right and our left brain. We need the harmony of our logic as the human experience and the inspiration from our intuitive intelligence to align ourselves with our soul's purpose. And so For decades, people ask me in session, like, what is my soul's purpose? Like, what am I supposed to do? I feel like I'm not living up to my potential. Well, let's back it up a little bit and go into the soul story. So each of us is a soul created from the light, and we all have a connectedness in that light. And what happens is that we think that our purpose has to be something that is like so grand or so massive, right? Well, each of us has our own fingerprints, and our fingerprints align with our soul prints. So when we understand that, we can look around and be like, oh, wow, Joe Schmo down the street is doing this. What's wrong with me? Well, that's Joe Schmo's journey. You're on your journey. And if you can recoil yourself or be aware of yourself when you start to compare yourself to others, because when you compare yourself to others, you are basically putting pause on your journey, and you're adding energy to theirs. You're abandoning your own path by giving all of your energy to someone else. Because we are a soul that came in here with a life plan that we designed as souls on the other side to experience. Part of our unawakened state, the experiences we've had before we have awakened, are all part of the plan. They're all opportunities of growth. They're all opportunities of expansion. They're all opportunities of learning and becoming aware of what the human experience is. When we are then activating in our awakening state, our spirit self, because we are not a human being first, we are a spirit being having a human experience. Because as spirit, we understand the mysteries of the world. As a spirit being, we understand that we are so powerful, that we have the ability to shift, to change, to co-create, and to self-empower ourselves without any self-doubt or questioning or wondering. It is not until we reach the human experience that we are on a much denser plane of existence, where doubt comes in, where we are sharing wounds and the lineages of ancestral beliefs and patterns. And we are the systems breaker. As awakened ones, we are the ones who are here to anchor the light. And in anchoring the light, we are to release those patterns from our ancestral lines. We're here to release the limitations that have been put upon ourselves. But just like the song when I was in church as a child, it is, let there be peace and let it begin with me. We have to go back in and tap into the peace within us to find the pieces that fit to the divine puzzle of our life path. And part of our life's purpose may shock you. It's to be kind, to be self-loving, to be in a relationship with our parts of ourselves. Most people, again, believe that their life's purpose has to be this grandioso thing that is just, attached to the material world of bringing wealth and bringing material items. And none of those are bad. But we miss the opportunities to understand what is part of our purpose here. And part of our purpose here is to experience the density at this plane of existence survives in. But it's also for us to raise the vibration from that. It is to be leaders in our own healing, to be leaders in our own life, where we can recognize that there are things that people may have done that are not very nice. There have been wounds that were shifted down from person to person, generation to generation, creating whips into people who try to love them. But it is not our responsibility to fix anyone else. It is our 100 soul purposeful responsibility to heal ourselves, to dig in and dive into our soul's wisdom and our knowledge and use the tools that we came into this world with. And through the soul's eyes, we are experiencing an ultimate test. And I don't like to use the word test because most people have such a negative relationship with that word. But we chose to be a student of Earth School. We chose to come into the skin suit and experience, and it is a blessing. We are the only beings of light that are able to wear a fleshy skin suit, that we're able to touch and taste and feel and love at the capacity that we can on this beautiful human experience. So as spirit beings, when we're seeking our soul's purpose, understand that when you went through difficult challenges but still remained optimistic, that was part of your purpose. That someone may have, broken a piece of you away, but they're never going to break you. If you're moving into your soul's purpose, it is about understanding how you conduct yourself in the day. Your soul's purpose is to be true to your soul. Are you being kind to yourself? Are you mistreating yourself with your thoughts? Are you self-depreciating with yourself? Are you giving more to others than you allow yourself to experience? Are you constantly making excuses for poor behaviors of others? Do you blame others for the experiences you've had that are holding you back? It's our responsibility to heal the things that we experience, good, bad, right, or wrong. That is part of our soul's purpose. Because if we don't do the inner work to unlock the keys of wisdom within us, we can't reach our purposeful place that we designed our destiny to be. So it's a process of not looking so much at the big picture, but just fine-tuning it in and taking a look at your picture reality right now. What does my reality look like right now? What are the things that feel aligned with me right now? What are the areas that I feel lost or confused? And a message from your spirit is that you're never lost. You had to feel lost to remember the strength in you, that awakened voice within you that said, we deserve better than this. You can do this. You are strong enough. You don't deserve this. That is the champion within you, which is your intuitive relationship with yourself, your higher self. And that champion is rallying. And as it is replying to the cries that you put out there, that you want help, you want clarity, you want this, and your intuition's like, I'm right here. Your spirit is like, I am. Don't seek outside, seek in. Connect in. And that is the source of all love, all creation is within us. And we're being asked to tap into that on such an intimate level. And ways that we can do that is by being aware. What is your thought process? What is it that you want? What are the doubts that are coming up? And when I do my inner investigations, I don't really start with the problem. I recognize the source of my symptoms. So if I'm moving through something that feels challenging, I say, okay, what are my symptoms? And I write down all the things that I'm feeling: avoidance, agitation, frustration, fear. And I write all those things down. I just get them out onto the notebook, because I've realized over the years I can't lie to myself on paper, but in my head I can negotiate the crap out of anything. I can make myself believe it if it's stuck in my head. But if I put it on paper, I really can't lie to it. So I write down all the things that I'm feeling symptomatically: panicked, worried, rushed, uncertain, indecisive. I'll write all those things down. And then I'll ask myself, what am I so afraid of? And sometimes it'll come up that I'm afraid of making the wrong decision. Well, if I make this decision, what if it works out? To raise your vibration in a higher ascended perspective, we have to start translating our former knowledge into what it is that we're looking to move into. So if you look at the situation of what if, often people are like, well, what if something happens? What if I lose my job? What if I lose my house? What if I? We always take the dream and we lower vibrationally align it with all lower density outcomes. When did we forget that we have the ability to co-create on a higher level? We are the creators of our reality. So if there's stuff in your life that you don't like, if there's things in your reality that you are not satisfied with, then own it because you created it. And that may sound harsh, but it is a truth. We have to stop lying to ourselves. We have to stop negotiating with our greatness because we have a list of excuses. When we take accountability, we are taking responsibility for what is not working in our life. Because if we're blaming someone else, we are giving them all of our power. We are giving them all of our power to make change because they hold the keys. If we're holding on to anger, we are giving over our power. If we are holding on to, well, I can't because someone else doesn't agree, we are giving someone else the power. We have to own the idea that we are in control of our thoughts. We are in control of our ideas and our actions. It doesn't mean that you don't have situations that need finesse in intermingling them. It doesn't mean if you're unsatisfied with your job that you just walk into your job and say, I'm taking control of my life and I'm quitting. What the responsible way to view that is I am not satisfied with my job. What qualities do I want to experience? What if I could find a job with really great coworkers? What if I could find a job that not only matches my salary, but raises my salary? What happens if I find a job that I feel fully fulfilled in? What happens if I find something that brings joy into my life and then satisfies all of my responsibilities? Those are the creation tools that bring us closer to the opportunities of receiving them. If we feel unsatisfied with our job and we say, if I leave this, I'm going to lose everything. If I leave this, I'm going to lose my house. If I leave this, I'm not going to find a job because the market is not good right now. If we are programming ourselves to stay stuck because we have an attachment to the limitation that we've set on ourselves. Our world that we live in, the society, has not trained us to feel aspiring and inspired. We were trained to be afraid, do what you were told, show up, and work hard. We were never trained to ask, am I happy? Does this bring me joy? Can I make purpose, passion, and profit a lifestyle? And when we are looking at this societal program where it's been a money trap, it's like, we're so materially driven that we connect all of our health, wealth, happiness around the things we have rather than the who we are. And things aren't bad. Things are great. But we don't want to release one thing and become a slave to our material world and neglect our spiritual wealth that will embody all of those things that we want, because we're the ones that keep putting limits on things. So to move into your soul's purpose, it's first to recognize, wow, when I hold the door for someone, or I have compassion for someone, and just maybe smiling at someone when you're walking in the street, all of that is part of your purpose. When we have our life review, when we cross over, it is not about all the things that we have done wrong in this world. It is not about the punishments and the fear of anything. We are actually shown all the successes that we have had and we completely neglected to pay attention to. We see when we were holding a spoon as a young child, rolling over, learning to talk, learning to walk, learning to ride a bike, going potty for the first time, going to school, graduations, learning to ride a car, connecting, communication, moving through fear. We're shown thousands and thousands of opportunities where we have been successful, but yet we have never given any attention, given any inner cheerleader support to ourselves of how capable we are. And during that life review, we are shown all of the opportunities that we have been successful. And they don't want us to wait to get back on the other side to appreciate that. Our loving teams in the light want us to appreciate who we are now. Because even if you're going through a very difficult time, a confused time, all of that is part of the Earth School experience. And we are in control of how long we allow it to happen. When we are taking ownership of our independence and our sovereignty, we are not dismissing people, but we are not continuing to give our power to relationships that are toxic, to jobs that suck the life out of us, to friends that are misaligned. We are asking ourselves, what does my soul need to breathe? Ask yourself that question. What does my soul need to breathe? And exhale. Because when you answer that question, you will then start giving yourself permission to be present in finding those pieces to peace. I don't know what my soul's purpose is. I know that I am on the path. I'm living it by knowing the feeling that I feel. When I'm working with people, I feel amazing. It lights me up. Do I know the end game? No. I'm a student of the journey as well. But what I do know is that when something feels misaligned, when something feels toxic, when I feel sad to start the day, when I feel sickened to get in my car and go somewhere, that is a huge indicator that I am in a misaligned situation. And I'm not talking one time like, oh, I got to go to the hospital to visit someone. I'm talking if every day you're waking up and you feel as though something is missing, then something is missing. And that is the relationship with yourself, the relationship with your soul. And what your spirit and your angels want you to know is that you are doing your life's path. And every step that you take, even the steps that you don't take, those times in stillness are all part of it. What you're missing is the belief that you're capable. You're thinking you're missing opportunities, but you can't say yes to opportunities that you haven't vibrationally aligned with within your spirit. That's why we heal. We heal because we're creating space to allow the next level of opportunity to come in. So if I'm feeling like very negative and uncertain and afraid, but yet I want to experience something that is joyful, grand, and wonderful, well, just imagine I'm in the office building number 2, but what I desire is an office building number 4. So I need to release the density to give me light and air to align me to the level number 4, to say yes to the opportunity, to say yes to the experience so that I accept it willingly. I've worked with people with relationships for years, and I have worked with men, but just more historically women I've worked with, so I use that as an experience. And some women will say that they are consistently tired of the same relationship over and over and over again. They joke that like, oh, I'm a magnet. You know, if someone has dysfunction, I'm going to attract them, or, you know, broken magnet or whatever that is. And the first thing that we start with when we're going into the healing of the pattern is that the problem is not with the men. The problem is with the person's energy. Because we can only attract to us what we feel we are worthy of experiencing. And I'm someone who lived in an unhealthy relationship for almost 20 years. So I'm not throwing stones. I'm just a graduated student of that lesson and completely understand the dynamic around it. Because often it's easy that when something ends and we're like, oh, they were no good. Oh, they did this. They did this. They did this. We need to stop that dialogue of blaming. And we need to step into what part of me allowed someone to treat me like that. Because the first time something happens, yes, that is most definitely shocking, and it is a victim of something. But the second, the third, the fifth, and the 100th time, that is a choice. Choosing to stay in a relationship that is not healthy. But there's something within us, in you or in whomever I'm working with, that believes that they are worthy of that. So that's where we start the inner investigation. So when we are going into that space, we don't ask, why would someone do that to me? Why aren't I enough? Why would they reject me? The questions we ask inward are, when did I start rejecting myself? When did I feel that I wasn't worthy of a healthy, happy relationship? What is surfacing that makes me feel that a lower vibrational relationship is what I deserve? So those are the questions that we ask in the inner investigation to understand what's holding us back from our purpose of abundance of health, wealth, love, happiness. What is holding us back from making those steps towards change? Every step we have taken has been a step that has offered us an opportunity for growth, and it's your choice how you choose to perceive it. If you choose to blame and regret, then that is where you're going to hold your energy. If you choose to say, you know what, I went through this experience, I've learned this, and now I move forward. And as Dr. Phil used to say, now that I know better, I'll do better. And that is true, because we are students of Earth School and we're growing through the lessons. But when we tune in and tap into our intuition, that is a direct conversation with your soul, and it's helping you to navigate the healing process and release, going back to what this card was, releasing the mind magic. The mind magic is keeping us held hostage, that we're not enough, we're worthy of bad relationships. Block your energy around your heart, so protect yourself. It will consistently feed us situations and stories that keep us in the past. We've already lived it, we've already experienced. We don't need to keep bringing it forward and creating an obstacle in our life today and then disrupting our future dreams. So today is your future. Today is your destiny. What do you want it to look like? And being aware of how you are conversing with yourself is how we start to change ourselves. Because I meet a lot of light workers who are afraid of their light because we have been silenced for so long. So coming out into a world that seems like it's, under construction, which it is, coming out into family members that may have different opinions, it takes courage, it takes strength. You should be really proud of yourself. But the one thing you should know is that you cannot negotiate with your soul as you're moving through this awakening. Your higher self is calling, and the time is now. So I'm sending you light and love and inspiration to believe in yourself on a little bit deeper every day. Reflect upon and ask yourself, what successes have I had? What if I actually gave attention to all the things that I did really well? What am I so afraid of? If you're afraid to fail, then change it. I make it an acronym. First attempts in learning. Fail. First attempts in learning. Colleen, you're going to fail. Your first attempts in learning are always going to be successful. Neutralize yourself from the things that are holding you back so that your purpose and your soul has an exhale and can lead you through the density through its intuitive impressions. So I wish you a beautiful week and God bless. Thank you for tuning in and joining Colleen St. on this transformation journey. If you have any questions, insights, or topics that you'd like to engage or ask, please visit www.colleenstmichaels.com under the podcast page of Ask Colleen to submit your question. I look forward to connecting with you next time. Have a beautiful day.